In this video, I'm going to be going through my top 5 vintage collection figures on Star Wars cards. Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. As I mentioned in the intro, I'm going to be going through my top 5 vintage collection figures that are on Star Wars cards. And in fact, it's going to be mainly about the card back, not the figure. So the figure does come into it in terms of how it makes the overall look of the card back, but in terms of like articulation and things like that, that's out the window. I'm not even considering it. It's about how it looks on the card and of course the card back image. Now I do have some rules around this, and that is that I'm not going to be including any figures from the Vintage Original Trilogy collection or the Vintage Saga collection. So this is only figures that are in the actual vintage collection, for which there are currently 23. I'm also not going to be including any figures that are on Star Wars cards that are not from the film. So any of those new gaming greats are out the window. Dr. Aphra, people like that are not included. It is literally basically characters from A New Hope that are on a Star Wars card. And as I mentioned, there's 23. I would also love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to know your top 5. And if you can't be bothered to do your top 5, at least let me know your number 1. What is your favourite Star Wars vintage collection carded figure? And of course, if you do happen to enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a like down below, because it really does help the video and the channel. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, which many of you aren't that watch my videos, hit that subscribe button for future Star Wars videos. Now, before we do get on to number 5, I do have a couple of honourable mentions that didn't quite make the list. It's very, very difficult to pick from 23, just 5. And one particular one stood out for me, and that was Grand Moff Tarkin. It's such a great card, and of course it was a figure and a character that we really wanted back in the day, you know, back in the Kenner days, that we never actually got. So for Hasbro to give us that on a modern vintage collection card, that was pretty awesome. So that one sticks out for me. Of course, you've got figures like VC93 Darth Vader, and of course the Chewbacca card, things like that. Absolute classics from the original first 12. But those are a couple of honourable mentions, but we're now going to get onto my top 5. And in 5th place, we have the Power Droid. Now this is quite a new figure to the vintage collection. It's VC167, and I absolutely love this card back for a number of reasons. One, I'm a bit of a sucker for droids. I think the droids of Star Wars is a big element of Star Wars, and I just love the card back. I love the colours. I love that purple with the pink name pill and the bit behind the figure. Really makes it pop. And of course, this is a classic card back from those Kenner days. And yeah, it's one of those ones that, as I've said before, just screams Star Wars for me. Obviously, I know they're all Star Wars, of course, but some of them just really shout Star Wars for me, and this is one of those. So the Power Droid is in 5th place. In 4th place, I have gone for Luke Skywalker in his Stormtrooper outfit. Now, this one's a bit interesting to me because obviously, originally, back in the day of the Kenner days, this card back never came on a Star Wars card. It was part of the Power of the Force. You either had him on the Power of the Force card with the coin, or you had him on the Tri-Logo card. It never actually came out on a Star Wars card because it was one of the last figures to ever be released. But I'm glad that they've used the same image. It is a fantastic image of Luke Skywalker. It's the best part of Star Wars for me in terms of the New Hope, when Han Solo and Luke Skywalker are in the Stormtrooper disguise outfits. Fantastic part of the film. And also the figure on that red background really pops, and to boot, it's a great figure as well, and I know I said that the quality of the figure didn't really contribute to my choices, and it doesn't. It's just the way it looks. It looks fantastic on that card back with the red and the white. Fantastic. All right, in 3rd place, now it's getting really, really tough. We have Princess Leia Organa in her Yavin ceremony outfit. This card for me is absolutely fantastic. VC150. You can also get her on the VC164 error card. But look at that green that they've used, and the picture is just fantastic. And this one to me just reminds me of Kenner. So if Kenner were to produce this figure back in 1977 or whenever it was, they would have used an image like that. And I don't know, they've just captured it perfectly. And for me, one of the best images that Hasbro have ever picked. And, you know, she looks absolutely beautiful. Such a stunning card back, and it's very difficult not to have this one higher up in the list, but there are some better ones for me. But 3rd place is no bad thing. Great card back. In second place, we have R5D4. Now, this one is VC40, part of the original vintage collection in 2010 to 2012. And this one for me is what the vintage collection is all about. This card back is just absolutely stunning. Of course, it is the same card back that they used back when the original Kenner line was out. But man, as I say, it just screams Star Wars for me. I've said it before about this card back. Look at the scene straight from the movie. You've got a Jawa in there. You've got Luke Skywalker inspecting the droid. Just such a great card back. So great, in fact, that I do own one of these carded from the original Kenner line. It wasn't cheap, but it's one of my favourites in all of the card backs, let alone in the vintage collection. So this one is in second place. And in first place, this may be a shock or a surprise to some people, but I've gone with the Sandtrooper. This is the second Sandtrooper that they gave us in the line. VC112 came out right at the death, just before they sort of put the line on hold for a few years. But man, look at that card back. I think they chose a really, really good image for the improved Sandtrooper, and just everything about this card I love. So you've got the great image. It's a really good figure, and he really does pop on his red background. You get all the accessories. I love the orange pauldron, obviously matches the image. Just a fantastic card back. And of course, it is very, very difficult to put it ahead of some of the more classic cards like your Darth Vaders and your Chewbacca's and things like that. But I kind of like the ones that are a little bit different, a bit like the Princess Leia Yavin. And this one for me is that. This is a modern interpretation of a classic figure, a figure that we never got back in the original days of Kenner, that we should have done. And I think they've done a fantastic job with the image, and it's just one of my favourites on that Star Wars card. So there you go then, guys. That's my top 5. Let me know your top 5 in the comment section below, or as I said, if you don't want to do that, just let me know your top 1. Let me know your favourite figure on a Star Wars card. I thank you very much for watching, and be sure to tune in next week when I'll be going through my top 5 Empire Strikes Back cards. And then, of course, the following week, I'll be doing the Return of the Jedi. When it comes to some others, like the Expanded Universe, there's just not enough for me to pick 5 out of however many there are, maybe only 5 or 6. So I'm not going to do that. But I wanted to do it for the original trilogy. So there you go. That's my top 5 for Star Wars. Thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.